If you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, follow, subscribe, throw a prime. It makes sense why he doesn't care about Palestinian children when he is neglecting his own. How is this happening? How is this happening? There's no point in engaging in good faith with people who aren't good faith actors. There is no point in engaging in that way. You should respond to people the way that they respond to you. If they are dishonest liars to you, then you can make fun of them.
The house is spotless.
Our house is so clean.
We live in a crazy world right now where, like, you can just spend no time at all researching something.
Rob Denims keeps yapping. It's time to launch the nuke. Have it make an impact in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I've been wanting to do this video for half a year now, and it's time to once again give Denims a taste of her own medicine. She's continued to involve herself in controversy after controversy, always portraying herself as a victim when the going gets tough. And instead of the tough going, she's continued to dig her feet into the ground. Instead of covering each occurrence one at a time, I'm doing one massive video exposing her long string of lies throughout 2025. From her sketchy accusations against Destiny, to the false narrative that led to a CPS call, the failed lawsuit against Ethan Klein, and her continued violations against basic copyright law, it's time we set the record straight, and nuke what's left of Denims' crappy reputation. Before becoming an orbiter of Hasan Piker, Denims used to orbit around the liberal streamer Destiny. But seemingly, instead of trying to fuck Destiny, Denims was going after one of his most prominent chatters, AtlasQ. Following TwitchCon 2019, the two would enter Destiny's apartment without asking multiple times, resulting in drama that ended when Denims left the GGG community. She now holds a grudge against Destiny for discussing that situation on stream, and has debated him multiple times over the years. In January 2025, it was publicly revealed that Destiny had been sharing revenge porn of his many sexual partners, which had leaked to the internet. One of these partners, Pixie, is currently suing Destiny, which he'll most likely win due to all the evidence against him. Denims would discuss this situation live on January 24th, deciding to bring up her own allegations against Destiny.
Like, he has so many victims, and he has done this same shtick over and over and over again, where he reaches out, or other women reach out to him who are 18 or 19 or 20, and he does the same song and dance where he tries to use and abuse them and then discard them when it's no longer relevant or useful for him. And unfortunately, I made the mistake of not having had sex with him. And after that point, he decided to just do a full smear campaign on me. And threatened to leak non-sexual. In this case, I feel like it's important to recognize that, because these people have had to deal with him leaking sexual video footage or audio footage, but then he threatened to leak non-consensual, illegal recordings of me. We had a conversation, and he recorded it in California, which is a two-party consent state. Which you cannot record people without their consent, and then threatened to leak that. And I thought that the audio recording was of a different nature, and I was super scared. I was terrified, and that was me thinking it was something else.
So here, she is alleging that Destiny recorded an entire conversation secretly without her consent, which is indeed illegal in California. She was afraid of Destiny mentioning these recordings, because she thought they were of a sexual nature. Now, what's really odd about this is that Denims doesn't give any additional context. She keeps things vague. The reason why, as you might suspect, is because Denims isn't being entirely honest. First of all, she never gives a time frame of when this all happens, which she does to make herself seem younger than she actually was. She claims she was 20 or younger when the situation happened to make herself seem vulnerable.
At the time, I think I was 20. And or maybe I was even 19, I don't remember. And he was 30.
This situation would have occurred in late 2019, because that's when she stopped associating with Destiny. And she wasn't 19 or anything, she would have been turning 23. Her birthday is publicly available online. Yes, Destiny is a bit older, but they're both over the legal drinking age. The reason why Denims doesn't discuss the contents of these recordings is because she'd have to bring up the old TwitchCon drama, a situation where she was obviously in the wrong. Destiny was mad at her, not for just simply going into his apartment without asking, but for having sex with Atlas Skew in his own bed.
We walk into the elevator, take the elevator up, I open my door, and I come into my empty apartment, okay? Me, Caterino, and Melina, sigh of relief, drop our bags, and then Denims pops her head up over the loft and says, "Oh, hey, what's up?" And we're like, "Oh, what's up?" And then the guy pops his head out over the loft and is like, "Hey, what's up?" And I'm like, "Oh." And so at this point, there's a lot of very strange things going through my head right now, okay? Namely the idea that like, I'm incredibly uncomfortable that like, and I don't know if this person would do anything, but the idea that a fan of mine was in my house for a whole day. Now that figure is contested. Okay, other people say he wasn't there for a whole day, he just came and left or whatever. Like around my unlocked computer, like actually is the worst infosec like mishap I think I've ever had in my entire life.
Now, how was Denims able to go inside his apartment? Well, at TwitchCon, Destiny told her that she could stay as a last resort, in case she wasn't comfortable staying in Atlas Skew's apartment. Denims instead went there because I guess fucking him at Destiny's house is kinkier or some shit. The non-sexual recording of Denims was actually a conversation the two of them had, about her pretty much just squirting her cum all over Destiny's bedroom. Typical behavior for her, I'm sure. Destiny would share this recording of WillyMacShow during their interview, and I'll play the entire thing for you.
Is Alex not allowed to be in the apartment?
Fuck no.
Really?
Fuck no.
Why was I not told that he was not allowed to be in the apartment?
Because I wouldn't assume you would bring a stranger into my apartment without asking me. When volunteers to drive you back, I don't know how you feel 100% because you don't talk about any of this stuff, which is fine. So like, if you're like in an awkward situation, right? I'm trying to be a good guy and give you a way out. Like, hey, well, my apartment is open if you want to go in. So that gives you the ability to either say like, oh no, it's okay, I'll go with, or okay, thanks for offering, I'll go to your apartment. That wasn't like bring into my apartment for him to have free reign in here for a day. Okay, holy shit. Okay, that is so f***ing weird. And not only that, but you couldn't even lie about it correctly. You told 3 different lies to different people. You told Melina, ew, I would never and I got into
I never said that.
You did. I looked at the text. You did.
OMFG, no.
Yes.
It was
So
not ew,
okay, OMFG, no. So I come home and you're both still here. Why? Why would you put me in this weird spot where I have to come home and see an incredibly creepy f***ing guy that is such a weird position in my community that's been trying to get me to stop talking to my ex-girlfriend because he's trying so hard to f*** her, is now f***ing somebody else in my bed, dragging his f***ing hairy balls across my f***ing blankets, okay? Oh my god. And so we leave for an hour. It's like, holy shit, that's weird. So we leave for an hour and come back and you're both still there. Oh god. I don't know if he's like, I need to get like a few more logs or pictures off of Destiny's computer. Holy shit. I don't think I've ever had somebody fuck me that hard where I've tried to like offer somebody to somebody in my entire life. I don't think I've ever been like so burned on something before. Holy shit.
Destiny claims he recorded this because he knew she'd lie about why he kicked her out. And she would indeed do that, spreading a narrative that she got booted because she wouldn't fuck Destiny. Now, should Destiny have still recorded this? Well, no, it is illegal. Can I understand why he did it? Maybe a little bit, though it's completely reasonable for someone to use this in order to craft a narrative that Destiny likes to record things without consent. The problem is that Denims is a grade A liar, and she's doing this to rewrite history and avoid accountability for her mistakes. There are some more legitimate claims against Destiny, and Denims, throwing herself in with these real victims is nothing short of vile, just really evil behavior. All this does is give Destiny a W, something he'll use to at least partially restore his image and possibly weaponize it against those he's actually hurt. This isn't Denims being an imperfect victim. This is her taking advantage of a very serious situation in order to get an own on someone she's held a grudge over for half a decade. In my previous video discussing Denims, I went over the emerging drama between Ethan Klein and his former podcast host, Hasan Nuke. Denims has been a major player in that beef, as she spent nearly the past 2 years taking potshots at Ethan. After my November video, Ethan would release Content Nuke Hasan Nuke, a video that would stir a lot of controversy. Hasan himself didn't bother watching it live at first, instead leaving it up to his many orbiters to pick apart the video. Now, who are these orbiters? Well, one is obviously Denims herself, who touts herself as the largest female political streamer. Pretty impressive, if Caroline Kwan didn't have more followers. Then we have Frogan, who LARPs as a Muslim woman, yet has admitted herself that she's not religious. Her whole shtick is to say outrageous things for attention, like that US soldiers deserve PTSD, and then she'll cry on stream after rightfully getting backlash.
And I feel like such a bitch for crying, but it's just like, there are some days I just sit and I'm just like, I'm just like, I'm like, what did I do to deserve this? You know what I mean?
Mike from PA is a real-life 40-year-old virgin who tries to act like a tough guy. In reality, he's a schlubby, greasy stoner who probably hasn't seen his dick in years.
So if a guy pays for my tab,
I think I'm getting your attention. I feel like I touched like a vampire touching holy water.
can I help you?
Well, I think they want to go in.
Okay.
Another schlubby, greasy stoner is Casey Tron. She used to pretend to be a ditzy gamer girl, but now is a ditzy gamer girl. Her whole grift is to get herself involved in political drama, and respond to the haters by labeling them incels. Who the fuck is this guy? Oh right, this is Sean the Black. He's Hasan's token black friend, whose only claim to fame is threatening to kill Destiny.
We would have socialism at this point if someone just went out of their way and it would be so easy.
Ban Empanada
Ban Emma Panda
is the group's attack dog. He does all the things Hasan and his orbiters won't do, like doxing and leading targeted harassment campaigns against those he politically disagrees with. Yet, at the same time, he'll cry like a bitch when he's referred to by his legal name, filing privacy complaints despite it being public for years. Final orbiter I'll mention is my good pal, Noah Samsen. I'd go as far as to say he's a friend of the channel, seeing that the multiple videos he did responding to my BreadTuber video did nothing but promote me. He is the mascot of the safe sleaziness trend, and makes stereotypical leftist video essays. This group's main tactic against Ethan is to fling out as much shit at the wall as possible. Doing this has led to much of their points being, well, bullshit. My favorite example was when Mike claimed Ethan showed a photoshopped image of him in his video, when it was really a screenshot taken from a Casey Tron livestream. Denims would get the brunt of the criticism though, seeing that she garnered the most amount of viewers she'd ever had. 45,000. Very impressive. Though if you know anything about Denims, you'll know that she's terrible at reacting to videos. Like I've seen blow up dolls with more expression than she does. This is the same person who starts the first hour of their streams playing other people's videos of no commentary. Full blown freebooting. Denims would barely react at times, with Ethan calling her out for a constant state of shock.
Can I give you a hug, bro?
I'm so sweaty, bro.
I love you, bro.
I'm so sweaty.
I love you, bro.
Once again, speechless?
You're like you're my hero, bro.
Nothing to say, girl!
You're the coolest guy.
You just went a whole fucking, you just grandstanded on how he's obviously just must not be a fan of Hasan. And like, how could she sit there so stupid and smug?
Denims wouldn't take these criticisms lying down, deciding to make a YouTube video in response. Yes, she actually put something together. What I found strange is that she made an entirely new channel just to upload this, despite having another channel of almost 20,000 subs. If you don't know the lore, she used to make a lot of edited content, but took much of it down after she got her ass handed to her by JXE in 2022. She would then private the rest of her content on here, and made a whole new channel. I have no clue why'd she do that, unless she has something to hide. Now, Denim starts the video by referencing her lack of a reaction sometimes. Her cope is that she's speechless due to how bad the content nuke is.
I'm silent and trying to control myself because I honestly cannot believe that the Ethan Klein isn't afraid to make such a dishonest video. In each clip, I am holding out in the hopes that he brings it back or explains himself, and each time he never did. He literally just leaves in flat out lies.
We'll dive into those in a second, but this is just a lame excuse in my opinion. I've watched a ton of her content, and she's always been like this. She's always staring at the screen, trying to think of a witty comeback. She's just retarded. Now there's 4 main things she tries to debunk Ethan on, and I want to go over each of them. They're just gonna get dumber and dumber, trust me. First is that Ethan lied about an Israeli woman being raped on October 7th.
In new footage, Agam reveals that sexual assault and rape was a regular component of the life as a hostage in Gaza.
Doesn't matter if fucking rapes happen on October 7th.
Hasan, maybe you would like to call her a liar. Please, go right ahead.
Doesn't matter if fucking rapes happen on October 7th.
There are dozens of testimonies from witnesses, most of who were in hiding and heard or saw it happen. What's the problem, fucking bitch? Did you not hear what they said? You respect women? Why are you calling them liars? How fucking cool is that? Say something. You just said you believe victims, but here it's a victim right now, a woman, telling you this happened, and you're smiling? How do you disprove firsthand testimony? She goes, I wouldn't believe it unless it was firsthand. Here's a 17-year-old whose family was murdered in front of her, and she was kidnapped for 50 days and continually raped while being in captivity. Nothing to say? Nothing? You're not gonna fucking acknowledge what just happened?
This woman who you claimed was continually raped in captivity did not claim to have been raped. In fact, when she was released from captivity, she had this to say.
ואז אחד מהם היה צעיר, עשה איתי הורדת ידיים, אבל הוא הביא מגבת, כדי לא... כי אסור לו לגעת בי. אישה היא מאוד... אישה היא קדושה שם. אישה היא מלכה. היו עושים לי שיחות איך לשמור על אגם. הסברנו להם שגם אצלנו לפעמים כן יש שלאדם יכול להיות חבר, או יכולים להיות לה כמה חברים לפני שהיא תתחתן. אני אפילו מעודדת את זה, שהיא תתנסה, שהיא תכיר, לפני שהיא אצלה מוסד הנישואים. אבל היינו מתאמתים על זה.
Later, she did a different interview for a documentary, which is what Ethan put on the screen. In that interview, she says that at least half the hostages she spoke to said they were sexually assaulted. At no point did she claim that anything had happened to her, and to my knowledge so far, no hostages have given first-hand accounts of being sexually assaulted in captivity.
Yet seconds later in that documentary, a woman gives first-hand testimony of that very thing. I won't play the full clip here due to how graphic it is, but Ethan showcased it on his next podcast episode.
I show a video where the narrator's like, people in this video say first-hand accounts of that they were sexually assaulted. And then she's so led by hate. I don't know if she willingly lied or if she actually just watched only like 5 seconds of that interview. Either way, the carelessness with which she calls rape victims liars is certainly something that is heinous, it's disgusting. And why do they even do it? Like, what do they even gain from doing it?
Because they're on the side of Hamas and they cannot, that's what I was saying, they have this perfect narrative and they cannot deviate from it. They cannot agree that some Israelis are victims.
Denims does mention that Hamas might have done mass rapes, but quickly engages in whataboutism.
I have said countless times that in any military, paramilitary, or terrorist attack, there will unfortunately be sexual abuse. American troops have been found guilty of this countless times over the past few decades. I have to believe that there was sexual abuse on October 7th.
The second claim is Ethan's assertion that Hasan Piker supports Hassan Nasrallah, the former leader of Hezbollah. Ethan shows evidence of Nasrallah being anti-Semitic, and using that hate to justify terrorist attacks, and then plays a clip of Hasan Piker agreeing that he's based.
I can't believe I'm calling Nasrallah based. I mean, listen. Listen. You have to remember something, okay? A lot of these dudes, you see...
He literally just called him based. Can I sell you a bridge? You're not an idiot. Come on, you're not that stupid. You have to understand, you have to have heard him reading a chat message. Are you just being disingenuous or are you dumb? I don't understand.
Now, despite her claiming that Ethan clipped this, Denims herself only played a small portion of that moment, and she adds on that Hasan doesn't actually agree with Nasrallah. A chatter does.
Hasan is reading a chat message. Yes, seriously. He goes on to explain that the reason the chatter might find himself agreeing with him is that Nasrallah is well educated.
You have to remember something, okay? A lot of these dudes, you see them in their fucking fits, and you hear about like some of their attitudes about like gay people, for example, and you immediately fucking resort to Orientalist perspectives, not realizing that these motherfuckers are better read than you by a million. You might not agree with his methods, but ultimately, this motherfucker has read a shit ton of books.
But if you watch the content, Nuke, Ethan shows more than just that as evidence that Hasan supports Nasrallah and his organization.
Hezbollah is a paramilitary organization.
Do we like them or no?
They are a terrorist organization. Like they're designated. They are designated by the American state as a terrorist organization.
I do not like them then.
Well, like
I like what you like.
I don't have an issue with them, let's just say.
Hasan doesn't have an issue of Hezbollah, which is essentially just saying you support them, while using plausible deniability tactics. What she's doing here is dishonest. She's not presenting Ethan's full argument in this video. which I would consider lying by omission. The third claim is that Ethan lied about the streamer Dating&Money being a Hasan fan.
I'm even getting harassed on the street.
So how come you don't like Palestine?
I like Palestine.
No, you don't.
Why do you say that?
Because, bro, you're... wasn't she in the IDF?
Yeah.
Oh, damn, that's crazy.
Mandatory service.
That's
She's born
sad.
there.
That's terrorism, bro.
She was born there.
That's sad. I feel bad for you guys. Ethan Klein, bro, you're ugly as fuck, bro. You're ugly as shit. You look like a rapist,
Bro,
bro.
look in the fucking...
You look like a fucking rapist, Ethan. Feel bad for you.
Okay, can I just say really quickly, it's very obvious from the way that guy's talking he's a Sneeko fan. Like, I'm sorry, that language is not Hasan fan verbiage. Like, that's very clear Sneeko lexicon.
She is then immediately proven wrong only moments later.
Oh my god, bro, I love you, Hasan. Can I give you a hug, bro?
I'm so sweaty, bro.
I love you, bro.
I'm so sweaty.
I love you, bro. I have to interview you. You're like you're my hero, bro. I love you. Bro, you're the coolest guy in the world, bro. Hold on, I think I look gay in that one. Hold on.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Hold on, I think I look gay in that one. Hold on.
Okay.
The funny thing about me, I don't...
Yes, good clip, Chimp. Very good. He yelled at him later. Yeah, they met once, which means he endorses everything he's ever done, ever. Okay, uh-huh.
In her edited video, Denims doubles down on the assertion that he's just a Sneeko fan, looking to leech off of Hasan's clout, showing a clip from someone else's stream.
The first time this guy shows up during this stream, it happens 15 minutes earlier when he meets Hasan's crew. Notice he doesn't react when they say they're gonna find Hasan.
Busy right now.
What are you guys doing? What kind of content?
We're just streaming. It's live streaming.
Oh, live streaming?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm just like,
Yeah,
I'm a content creator too, bro.
Yeah. Sure.
I do content. So you're just literally live right now?
Yeah. Yes.
How many viewers?
A couple. A few.
You?
Yeah.
What, 30?
Probably more than 30.
Really?
Yeah. I would say more than 30. Yeah.
Dude, guys, my YouTube channel is at Dating&Money. Please subscribe. At Dating&Money. I talk about Palestine
Dating
on
and
there.
Money.
Yeah.
Dating and Money.
I talk about Palestine on there.
Okay, hell yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I want to find his son. Okay. Where is this guy? Where'd he go? Yeah.
But yeah, just type in at and then Dating&Money, guys.
To further prove that Dating&Money was not a Hasan fan, she shows then recent tweets of his. Yet she ignores a tweet from the day prior, where he flat out says he was a Hasan fan.
I swear you guys are worried about the dumbest shit. I was a Hasan fan until I found out the seriousness of him promoting transgender propaganda.
When are we gonna dance, love?
He was a fan of Hasan until he, I guess.
What are you doing tonight, beautiful?
Spoke too kindly about trans people.
And if that's somehow not proof enough, this FouseyTube knockoff later admitted on stream that he was a fan.
So I was not I was a Hasanabi fan when I met Hasanabi, okay? I was a Hasanabi fan and I knew who he was. So Hasanabi saying, I didn't know who he was, he's kind of dumb. I knew exactly who he was, okay? That's kind of stupid. You're an idiot, Hasanabi. You're a complete idiot. I knew who you were, okay? And yeah, I was at the protest. You were talking shit because I'm at the protest. You said I'm trying to clout chase, bro. What the hell? I'm Palestinian, bro. I've been going to protests since I was a little kid, bro, okay?
Not gonna lie, I had a laugh watching this guy chew Hasan. He basically said Hasan is a psyop controlled by Zionists to spread degeneracy.
You're literally just a psyop, Hasanabi. You're literally just a psyop. And that's why they push you. They literally push you because you're just a psyop, bro. Okay? You push degeneracy. You still go with their agenda. You're saying, hey, yeah, free Palestine, blah, blah, blah. But you're still pushing their agenda, their degenerate agenda, okay? And that's part of Zionism, okay? You don't understand, bro. You don't understand.
If there's anything that makes me believe in the horseshoe theory, it's this. Now, if you're looking for an even crazier conspiracy, look no further than the last major claim Denims makes against Ethan. She says Ethan is secretly working with Destiny, playing this clip as her main piece of evidence.
I know it wouldn't look good for Ethan to publicly do anything with you, but if you reach out on private at all, well, privately we chat a ton, of course. Why do you think I've been off stream so much the past week? I'm like scripting these fucking videos. But publicly, I mean, it's difficult to associate with him because Hasan is just going to accuse me of like mind fucking him, basically, right?
If Ethan Klein is willing to lie about all this other stuff, what else is he willing to lie about?
What are you, Down syndrome? She actually thought this proved a point. If you're not 5 years old or mentally retarded like Denims is, you'd completely understand that Destiny was being sarcastic. He's making fun of people like Hasan, who constantly use him as a scapegoat. And now that Destiny has been exposed as a revenge porn fanatic, these guys claim that Ethan is just as bad, because he got some of his sources from Destiny's community. It's deranged, and it's just a way to dismiss valid criticism by pointing fingers at where it came from.
For one, Ethan uses Destiny's subreddit as a source for his stream. Here's him doing it in October, and here's him explaining why he got the Frogan section of his video wrong.
Here, it's right here.
Oh, never mind.
It's right here. Right at the top. Frogan Rising Star 2024. Right here. What even is this post from? Is it even from Destiny subreddit?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so that's the post.
Yes,
so that's the post. So that is where I found it. And like, I'll admit that was sloppy.
Oh wow. He got something off Google Images that comes from his subreddit. That means Ethan is now a Destiny orbiter. Even though Ethan went on stream and called him a disgusting human being who deserves to go to prison.
It was only yesterday I became aware that Destiny had recorded me while we had sex without my consent.
That is so.
That to me is like the worst. That's like a go to jail type of.
And then sharing it on top of that, it's
distribution.
Filming without consent is like.
Freak.
It's a terrible crime. It's just a terrible crime.
Denims only brings this all up because she's salty that Ethan referred to her as an ex-Destiny orbiter.
You'll notice when we get to the next clip, Ethan Klein put a banner labeling me as an ex-Destiny orbiter. He's doing this to distract from the fact that he's currently orbiting Destiny.
Now here's the clip that she's referring to.
She is an ex-Destiny orbiter. In fact, it's rumored, I'm pretty sure that they had a sexual relationship. I never fucked Destiny. Say what you will about me, but I never fucked Destiny.
You're saying that wasn't your dick in the leak?
Not my dick, buddy. Not this dick.
And Ethan is referencing these supposed leaked DMs, where Denims is down to fuck Destiny. I mean, hey, who wouldn't be down to fuck this high-value specimen? After Ethan brought up a response on stream, Denims' main comeback was to call Ethan a coward for not reacting to her whole video, claiming that he simply clip-chimped her.
It is really funny that all of my haters, all of my enemies, can only hate me by splicing clips of me and being totally disingenuous. It's sad. It's sad. It's really, really sad. It's kind of pathetic. I'm gonna be honest, man.
Can the smooth brain wench not go one video without projecting? I mean, this is the same person who goes out of her way to not watch people's videos, and instead waits for Banapanada to react to them first. Safe edginess is meant to describe edgy jokes that would never get you in trouble with your preferred audience. Humor that typically targets other groups. A lot of times, safe edginess can be seen as intrinsically hypocritical, as they'll get offended by edgy jokes made by others, but will adamantly defend their own style of offensive humor. This is Denims. Denims is the queen of safe edginess. I briefly went over this concept in my first video about her, mainly citing how she'll get deeply offended by jokes targeting OnlyFans creators, but has no problem making edgy political statements. She'll jokingly tell her audience to kill someone, and then claim saying the word retard is too tryhard.
You know what's really, really bad? When like the people you're fighting on the internet, the only two insults they have is Arsler and I'm richer than you.
She'll make various statements that seem risque, but won't actually get her in trouble with anyone in Hasan's audience. Case in point, the TwitchCon tier list panel. Denims and her friends are doing a tier list ranking streamers on how Arab they are, with the bottom tier being Love Sabra. This is clearly meant to refer to Jews born in Israel, as they treat that tier as undesirable to be in. When called out on this racially based tier list, these creators use plausible deniability tactics, and make it seem like they were only referring to the brand of hummus. My main issue is, why can't they just own up to it? They're doing this panel to be safe edgy, but now that they're being called out for it, they're backtracking. It makes them pussies. Same thing happened with the whole swastika sword scandal. Say that 5 times fast. They clearly did this to be edgy and piss off Ethan, but they then started backtracking once they got a lot of hate. And yes, I know, it's a Buddhist symbol and the sword is from an anime. But Hasan bought it, knowing it looks like the symbol of the Nazis.
That's like a bag.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It immediately goes for the swastika one. Got it.
I like this already much better. You're the one who owns this. Do you remember when you did that?
They're doing this as a dog whistle because they think it'll make Ethan crash out. Just own up to it. I mean, this is the same bitch who said Muda's thumbnail to the Keffals video is a dog whistle for transphobia, because she was like drawn ugly.
This is a very gross portrayal of someone who is a trans woman. This is like hitting all of the common stereotypes, like trying to make them as quote unquote gross looking as possible, or as manly as possible, or whatever.
Oh, and recently, she spread this narrative that this innocuous Sydney Sweeney ad was actually all about eugenics.
American Eagle has like a vested interest in appealing to crazy fascist right-wing freaks. This is a pretty good breakdown as well. They're trying so hard to radicalize Americans. When you realize the obsession with Sydney Sweeney isn't about her tits, it's about the fact that she has blonde hair, blue eyes, is thin, and happens to have large breasts. American fascist. She is the perfect Aryan woman, which is why the joke is she has good genes. Like, there used to be a time where this just meant like, look her boobs. And now it's like,
Now this might sound like a hot take to some, but I still don't think these creators should have been banned over this Twitch panel. My problem is how Denims will advocate for other creators to get banned over their own edgy jokes. Right around the same time, Denims would call out Tectone for making fat jokes about Frogan, saying he should get banned.
I feel inclined to say that there is the letter of the law and the spirit of the law. TOS says you cannot do bullying on this platform or targeted harassment on this platform. Tectone has called her Jabba the Hutt. He's called her fat. He said she should go stuff her fucking fat face. She said she probably has PTSD when she sees a diet soda. That is bullying. That is breaking TOS. He should be banned for breaking TOS. I'm not going to call for his ban because I think it's fucking stupid. Because there's the letter of the law and then there's the spirit of the law. And I think Tectone broke the letter of the law, but I really don't give a fuck. He's also such a dumb fuck that I don't really care that he exists.
You clearly want him to get banned. You just don't want to be seen as a hypocrite. Because only a month later, she was directly calling on him to get banned after he made an edgy joke about Denims having an OnlyFans.
Denims talks about you? Dude, I only watch Denims clips offline. Yeah, with my pants off. Yeah, I can't watch those on stream. Yeah, just shouldn't bother.
Denims responded by tagging Twitch support, clearly wanting them to ban him. I don't care what logic she uses. She is advocating for him to get banned. Yet at the same time, she'll get her knickers in a twist about how her ban was so unfair, and that the people advocating for it are scumbags. If you think Tectone's statements are ban-worthy, then so are yours. I don't think either should get banned, but Twitch has incredibly strict rules that seem to affect certain creators over others. The reason why so many people were happy over Denims and her friends getting banned is because they constantly break Twitch's rules time and time again. It's a problem of inconsistency. In May of this year, it was announced that former US President Joe Biden has stage 4 prostate cancer. Denims' response was to go on stream and celebrate. She was blasting the Crab Rave song with the most inexpressive face possible.
That it's in a very aggressive form of cancer, and group 5 means that...
This bit is legitimately unfunny. It's the kind of thing me and my friends did in 10th grade when the meme was actually popular. This is a 28-year-old woman doing this.
Anyways, yeah, I don't know what happened to, like, comedy, dude. I should be able to make fun of a guy who didn't try at all to get a ceasefire. Later proven to be true that he didn't try at all to get a ceasefire, and in fact, just kind of told Benjamin Netanyahu, yeah, that's fine. No, that's fine. Could you do the genocide more quiet?
She doesn't cite any sources for that, by the way. I looked into this, and it seems like Biden was constantly pushing for a ceasefire. Either way, I do think Denims should be able to mock his eventual death, even if many would find it insensitive. My problem comes with the fact that she'll shun others for making jokes about the deaths of people she does like. This leads us to Aaron Bushnell. Aaron was a US Air Force serviceman who lit himself on fire outside the Embassy of Israel in Washington, D.C. Most would find this depressing, seeing that this mentally ill guy killed himself. But leftists found it inspiring because he screamed, "Free Palestine!" before dying in permanent blackface.
I think for most of us who have seen this, which I'm assuming it's almost everyone in here, I think all of us feel a sort of sense of respect and a desire to honor his wishes.
Denims then tries to argue that Aaron didn't technically commit suicide, dismissing the legal definition.
At the very least, when I think of the word suicide, or I think of someone who committed suicide, I think of someone who was like, I cannot bear the burden of being alive any longer. You are engaging in the means for the ends. Your primary goal is to stop existing. Whereas the goal for Aaron Bushnell was not to stop living. The goal was to get people to care more about this issue. Versus, in the example someone in chat gave, someone like staying behind to make sure everyone else lives. That is not someone that we would say is committing suicide, right? Because their goal is not death. Their goal is saving other people's lives. And the goal, I think, is the most important thing, which is, again, why most people don't call it suicide. Is it textbook suicide? Yeah. Is it under a legal definition? Did he commit suicide? Yes.
This guy didn't save anyone. He was mentally ill and killed himself. This is like if a guy tied a noose around his neck and said, "Rape is bad," before jumping. He didn't stop all rapes. He just took the time to virtue signal before dying.
Rape is good.
I bring all this up because Denims then reacts to an Ethan clip and gets offended once a joke is made.
It was absolutely insane how he stood the whole time. That was crazy. I didn't know how that's humanly possible. Again, not to put this uncouth, but he's a champ at fucking burning alive. I mean, that sounds bad, but he did it really good. Does that sound bad?
Hello? Hello? He's a champ at burning alive? Oh my fucking god!
She stands there, dumbfounded for another couple minutes, chastising Ethan for not picking his words carefully.
I understand why people want to go, he's a hero. I understand that because he made this ultimate sacrifice the most gruesome way possible, right? And so I understand the impulse of being I don't want that I want to honor that sacrifice. Monks do self-immolation. Yeah, I know. When they're under tyrannical oppression by the Chinese and have literally no way for the voices to be heard.
I love that he managed to get in a China bad comment. It's a great mwah.
No argument against what he said, just label it as China bad. I'm sure she'd love to expand on that, but that bagel just looks so good.
Because they're carving out a moral barrier for themselves to say, oh yeah, well in this case, killing yourself is great. But it's not. That's because it's not suicide. It is. He killed himself. He has family.
Who is they?
He's referring to people like you, Denims, who have to argue the semantics of the word suicide in order to justify his death. In fact, she spends the next 40 minutes doing just that. My main argument here is that if you think it's fine to make jokes about Biden dying, then don't take offense to equally edgy statements about Aaron's death. Her inconsistency comes from her politics. She has to appeal to the politically radical audience she's cultivated. The moment she says something actually edgy that will challenge her audience, she'll be done for. With the CPS situation, I want to give as much context possible to truly understand how malicious Denims was during it. So let's start with where the rumor came from. An H3 podcast episode from February 17th, 2025. During the beginning of this episode, Ethan discusses some of his health issues, like his coughing and stomach issues. He then mentions his new dog, Olive, who is a rescue that happened to have Giardia. Giardia is a common bacterial infection that can cause diarrhea. He mentions this because he had just started treating Olive with antibiotics. Because of this, Ethan believes that he, Gila, and their youngest child, Sunny, also have Giardia.
Sunny's crawling around, he's putting everything in his mouth, he's at that age, he has Giardia.
Oh shit.
Oh, and now Ela has Giardia.
Shut. For real?
And now I think this morning I had diarrhea.
Oh my god.
It can go on surfaces and stuff, so Olive chews everywhere, so Sunny, it makes sense why he got it. Then once he starts having these crazy diarrheas, like in the middle of the night, all day, all the time he's having these crazy diarrheas, then when me and Ela start having to get in there and changing his diaper, obviously you put him down, you wash your hands as best you can, but these are really nasty diarrheas.
Now Ethan never 100% confirms that the three of them had it. He speculates they did. Ethan later reveals that none of them had Giardia, and clarifies that getting it does not have to involve literally eating shit. He wrote, "You can get it from surfaces. If Olive's bum brushes on the floor, even if a clean bum, it can spread across the floor surface." Now one critique I do have for Ethan is that he probably shouldn't have shared this story. It's really gross, and not at all entertaining or interesting for the type of podcast he does. However, that does not at all mean people should twist up the details of the story and lie about it. which is exactly what Bad Empanada did. Empanada here has released hundreds of stream segments going after Ethan, and in one of them, he brings up the Giardia story. Instead of properly describing the story, he sums it up as Ethan allowing his son to eat dog shit straight off the floor. Very obviously untrue if you listen to the source material, but Bad Empanada doesn't care about spreading the truth. He just wants to justify going after people with absolutely no mercy at all. Denims, who has become a fan of Bad Empanada, decided to react to the specific video. Not once does she push back against anything Empanada is saying. She instead just silently agrees.
Is that Ethan Klein on his podcast outright openly acknowledged that he lets his dogs shit all over his mansion, and he just leaves the shit on the floor, something that is probably related to the fact that his former housekeeper is suing him for a number of different reasons. So I would assume he doesn't actually have a housekeeper anymore, or perhaps he lost his extra housekeeper. So now the house is just like covered in dog shit. And he has kids, and his kids like crawl into the dog shit, and God forbid, I don't know what they do with it. I don't know if they eat it or if it's just from like contact with it with their hands or something, but they contracted a parasite that I had previously never heard of in my life called Giardia from the dog shit that is all over his house.
I don't know, Denims. How about you watch the source material, instead of this psychopathic retard give his heavily biased summary of it? You know, research. Basic shit like that which all political streamers should be doing.
Dude, how is it that like maybe once a week I look into what Ethan Klein's been up to? And every time I manage to find more and more terrible shit.
She then reacts to an edit made by an H3 snarker. Not the original, mind you, which is really dodgy. Snark subreddits aren't exactly truthful, if you can't already believe.
And I was immediately struck by the foulest fucking, his whole room was...
I can't play it slower, it's posted on it's posted on Reddit. Also, this is not a joking matter, by the way. It can be very severe and deadly to small children. I mean, much like many other illnesses, it's very, very, very dangerous when infants get the same sicknesses that adults get. There are lots of things that you can get as an adult. You're totally fine. You'll be A-okay. No problem. A child, a small infant that has no immune system, shouldn't be catching anything.
She's flat out just reading random shit from our chat and thinking it's true. Getting Giardia is not at all deadly, yet instead of looking into this, she strangely claims that getting it can be deadly for small children. I don't know if you're aware of this, Denims, but small children get sick all the time, and that's completely normal. How else is someone supposed to build up their immune system? I mean, maybe Denims didn't, which would explain how she has both AIDS and BPD. This is all very basic shit, and the fact that she doesn't know this is proof enough that Denims should never have children, and will hopefully never reproduce. I mean, it's bad enough that her future kids will get bullied for having a mom with pictures of her ass cemented on the internet.
He made guac himself and made the crew eat it while he had Giardia. It makes sense why he doesn't care about Palestinian children when he is neglecting his own. How is this happening? How is this happening? How is this happening?
She believes every word her chat says, which is very irresponsible when you're trying to present yourself as this trustworthy political pundit. This stream is devious for multiple reasons, but the biggest is that Hasan and his orbiters know that Bad Empanada is a bad faith liar. They know he's a scumbag, but are only promoting him so that he can harass Ethan and their other detractors. Hasan used to publicly say that he'll never watch Bad Empanada's content on stream, though recently he's been gaslighting his viewers on the reason why. He says it was only due to ReactGate, a drama which criticized lazy React content.
Here's one point of contention. ReactGate. The reason why I had a blockade implemented on Bad Empanada videos for the longest time was because you were one of the YouTubers that was like, fuck this guy is stealing other people's labor, how dare he fucking do this. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I think that's what you said initially. So I was like, I'm never gonna watch this fucking dude's videos. Like, I was watching your videos at the time.
Do you
but
actually
not on
want to
stream.
talk about the ReactGate stuff?
ReactGate was a reason, but not the only reason. Hasan has also cited his unhinged behavior, like his multiple Twitter accounts that he uses to dox people.
I think Bad Empanada would be one of the better content creators online if he just didn't have a Twitter account. Like, unironically, the fact that they keep fucking nuking his Twitter account is actually a good thing for him, but he doesn't realize it. And he thinks it's like a bad thing for him. But it's like he would be so much better as like a content creator that just does not tweet, because he's such a fucking freak, dude. Oh my lord, he is such a goddamn freak. He is the most insane person. His Twitter is mostly a joke, in my opinion. He has like 7,000 accounts. He's also, yeah, I mean, he is a gremlin. He is absolutely a fucking gremlin. Keep in mind, there's people that pretend to be him. Says he doesn't have a Twitter on his YouTube. Good. I'm glad that he says that. Pretty sure he does, though. Watches Lonerbox and tries to be as charitable as possible. Won't watch Bad Empanada because he's mean on Twitter. Who said I don't watch Bad Empanada? And also, secondly, I just said I have an official blockade on Bad Empanada videos on this broadcast while I'm live. That's number one. And number two, he's not just mean on Twitter. He is a psychopath. The idea that he's just simply mean on Twitter is ridiculous. He is not just mean on Twitter. He is the most insane person on Twitter.
You know someone's a psychopath when it's coming from Hasan's mouth. It's like receiving a golden plaque. Yet, less than a year after both those statements, Hasan decides to start promoting Bad Empanada on stream and reacting to his videos. And I think he mainly started doing this after seeing Noah Samsen platform this guy with little to no consequence. Denims herself also knows Empanada is a fucked up dude, as she used to be friends with many political creators who he's harassed. Denims used to tie herself very heavily to Vach's community, and once left a comment on his Xander Hall tweet where he calls out Empanada's fanbase. He shows an alleged chat message from a fan calling Xander Hall the gamer word, to which Denims replies, "Most normal Bad Empanada fan." Lonerbox also implies that he's talked to Denims about how deranged he is.
How? How is this happening?
How is it happening? You mean the habitual liar who lies all the time is lying about things? Again, just so you guys know, everyone who's part of this circle knows Bad Empanada's a liar. They all know. Denims knows. I know Denims knows. She knows that I know that she knows. Hasan knows. Hasan knows that I know that he knows. Because back in the day, when Hasan used to be a little bit nice to me, he rejected claims from his chat that came from him. He was like, what, like a bunch of people in chat saying that Lonerbox was a phalangist, and Hasan would be like, no. And he knows this. We DM'd about this. We spoke about this. Like, Hasan knows. He knows this guy is a liar. Like, the whole group knows this. Like, everyone knows this guy's a liar. They just don't care. Just like, as long as, I guess if he's on your side, it's whatever, right? Leak the DMs. I'm not gonna leak DMs. If he denies what I just said, I'll leak DMs.
Now during Denim's stream, many in her chats urged for Child Protective Services to be called on Ethan. This edit I'm showing applies all the chat messages mentioning CPS during this segment. The real chat is up here. Denims is well aware that her chat is saying this. How do I know? Well, because Denims herself has admitted that she reads every single chat message. This clip comes from a year ago where she accused Ethan of mistreating his employees.
If you ever bring up chat as like a whole, okay, just show me one chat message of someone who said, he's literally the worst boss ever. There's no one that said it. I read every chat message I'm watching. No one said that. Literally, no one said that. I saw people call him a Zionist piece of shit. That's true. But that has nothing to do with whether or not you're a boss, right?
She knows her chat wants CPS to be called, yet won't moderate any of these comments. I find this strange, since Denims makes sure chat is heavily moderated, and has her mods ban anyone who simply criticizes her. Imagine being a fucking Denims mod. I bet these people are scared when you show them a job application.
I know, chatter. I know thinking is so hard. Listening is so difficult. I know. So you can't sue because you're a woman? What logic is that? Listen. Oh, the BoJack Horseman. That's very fitting. Listen, what I said, I'll explain it slower this time since you seem to be a little bit slow. I love these people as well. So then why do you get mad when someone calls you a hoe? So if someone brags about sleeping with a lot of people, can you make fun of them for sleeping with a lot of people? Why would you people ever think that I care about being called a whore? Oh, you guys are so cute. One day after the former Twitch staff tweet about Doc, but now your narrative, why did we ban him? I was responding. But now your narrative changes when the pedo is trans. Did you, I think it's cute that you want to believe that we're not consistent, but we are. It's you guys that aren't consistent.
Denims, the queen of consistency. She'll whine and complain about comments calling her a whore and blame Ethan for it. Yet I guess she is not at all responsible for her fans wanting to call CPS on Ethan. I mean, some of these people were practically encouraging it, with other Hasan orbiters like Matt Lieb and Froggy Tonic spreading the false rumor that Ethan neglects his kids and lets them eat shit off the floor. On March 7th, Ethan would announce on his show that a false CPS call was made in order to get his kids taken away. The person was anonymous, but pretended to be someone who works at the client's house. They mentioned there being dog shit on the floor, a claim spread by Banapanada and the H3 Snark subreddit.
We looked at Sunny, then they wanted to talk to our nanny and ask questions. Who feeds the kids? Who takes care of them? Who takes them to school? And like...
What do you do when you get angry at your kids?
Yeah, what do you
do when a dog poops on the floor? And then the part that, in my opinion, crossed the line was like, so I'm going to visit your kids at school and ask them questions. And I says, you're not fucking doing that.
No,
I mean, we both were like, that's not happening. You're not going.
Terrifying.
You are not doing that.
Even though we don't know who specifically placed the call, it's most likely someone from Snark who either believed in the narrative, or knew that it was a lie, and used it as justification anyways. Though, to placate the situation and shift the blame, those like Ayyrabs made it seem like a concerned H3 fan would have been the one to place the call.
People are quite reasonably concerned. And so, yes, anyone who's seeing that content might be concerned enough to call CPS, including Ethan's own chat, which, by the way, is not a measly number. It's about 26,000 at the time of this stream. So there are 26,000 people listening to Ethan go into great detail over 7 or 8 minutes about diarrhea, viscosity of diarrhea, his child having Giardia, him and his whole family having Giardia. They're calling it the poop house.
This makes absolutely no sense if you actually know the proper timeline. If it was a concerned H3 fan, why did they wait 2 whole weeks to make the call? The original H3 episode came out on February 17th. The Banapanada video came out on February 27th. Denims reacted to it 2 days later on March 1st, and the CPS call was made on March 3rd. What community do you think was possibly responsible for calling CPS? Was it the one making jokes about Ethan's home being the poop house? Or was it the one repeatedly inciting CPS to be called? If you pick option A, go check yourself into a psych ward. During the March 7th podcast, Ethan brings up Denims' stream from that morning, where she nitpicks a frame of Ethan having bad posture. When someone calls her out for being hypocritical, Denims tries to justify mocking people's posture.
Why are you shitting on his appearance? I'm shitting on his posture, which is dog shit. And I think it should be evidence to everyone that this is not someone who is physically or mentally well. It's kind of like judging Asmongold for having trash and mold all over his house. Like, that's the image of someone who's not well. You are not mentally well if you are cool with mold growing in your house. Like, you have multiple petri dishes around your room. Like, you are not well. It's the same thing with this. Couldn't he be leaning over to use whatever it is he's using? But he's not leaning over.
He's got that Notre Dame hunch.
He's just showing the camera his phone. He's literally standing up straight.
Injury he sustained in the disinformation wars. He had to spend long hours hunched over a laptop, ignoring his children and the poop they were eating for months to deliver that powerful content puke against the most evil man to ever live, Hasan Piker.
So that's Denims' chats repeating the lie that Ethan neglects his kids. She doesn't push back against it, and instead says the quiet part out loud.
Also, he literally makes fun of Mike from PA about weight all the time. That's not relevant to his arguments either. Yeah, I mean, I don't even make fun of people's weight. I've never made fun of people's weight. I do make fun of people's posture. If you're making an active decision that, like, you don't give a fuck about your health or your posture or your dog shitting all over the house to the point where your kids are getting Giardia, that's the image of someone who is not well. Wait, what? Wait, what, Denims? Wait, what? You guys didn't know about this? Yeah. Meth Zempic diet. Oh, God.
I fucking hate her fake laugh. It's almost as bad as Lex Up Dog's. Holy shit.
Oh my god, you're so stupid!
Is it? Denims is trying to spread a narrative that Ethan is unwell and is possibly neglecting his kids, even doubling down when a chatter asks for clarification. All this because Ethan was slightly bending down for a couple of seconds to show his crew something. These people will take the most innocuous shit and turn it into the biggest deal ever. It's pathetic. Even more pathetic is that right after that H3 podcast episode that day, Denims would unlist her March 1st VOD. The one where she dick sucks Banapanada. This is totally something an innocent person does, guys. It's especially malicious because of her next stream, where she tries to deny that her or her chat mentioned CPS.
Oh yeah, Ethan's kids crawl around and eat dog
That was my TTS. I'm sorry, Dragon Army. You were robbed.
shit in their house. And then Denims hosts this and see what she says. And then now we wonder why people are calling Child Protective Services.
But they called it before I even did this stream. And again, I have to reiterate, I always tell people, don't tap the glass. If you have the energy to bother someone, go bother your local politicians.
She says all of this while ignoring the massive amount of chatters who urge for CPS to be called. She's flat out just sweeping the evidence under the rug, like the malicious liar she is. Denims also mocks the assertion that Ethan's house is clean, clearly meant to continue the narrative that he leaves shit all over the floor.
He wanted to look at everything.
Well, the house is spotless.
He was checking the house and like, where do the dogs go potty? Because we heard that there's poop on the floor.
The house is spotless.
Our house is so clean.
I have no words. I have no words, dude. Nothing to say. Nothing to say. Oh God. I believe them. Okay, I believe them. They got a new housekeeper, and their new housekeeper really makes the place spotless.
Now, she's claimed multiple times that she's discouraged her audience from tapping the glass, so to speak. This is something she tries to double down on, claiming that she's never condoned CPS being called.
One, I don't condone. I've never condoned it, and you will not be able to find a clip of me saying, yes, we should do this, because it doesn't exist. I think CPS should be exclusively used for family vloggers who are total fucking pieces of shit that use their kids as content. I've literally given Ethan Klein credit on multiple times or multiple instances, and I will do it again right now, for not showing photos of his kids. I think it is actually very cool of him to try his best to not have his kids in photos, in videos. I respect that a lot. I think he's a piece of shit, and I think he's going insane and he's crazy, but I respect a lot that he doesn't bring his kids on camera and use them for content.
This comes across as complete bullshit, because the day prior, she was trying to make Ethan seem like a terrible parent. And right before that clip I just showed, Denims tries downplaying the severity of Child Protective Services coming to his house, saying it's not going to be traumatic to Ethan's young children.
So he agreed to come visit our house
next week
when the kids are at home, because he needs to fucking interview our kids as a matter of procedure.
But I was like, I really don't want you to create any bad memory here for them. Like, they are 5 and 3. They don't understand this shit. So I told him,
create any bad memory for them. You're not forming memories at 3 years old, and it's very rare that you're forming memories at 5 years old. When we're talking about being able to remember, being able to recall memories, it's like 4 is the cutoff. But even if you are forming any memories at 4, you're not going to be able to remember them past like 15. You have maybe 1 or 2 memories. Yes, you will remember. So everyone in chat here has a collection, like 50 plus memories of when they were 3 years old. There's a wide variation across, about the mean, across methods, cohorts. The average age of adults' earliest memories is 3.5 years old. You're not really forming memories at 3. And it's pretty rare to be forming memories, or like memories that you will keep, like at 5. Like I can remember maybe, I don't know, 5 things that happened to me, maybe.
She'll say all this bullshit, while pointing out a study that says kids start forming memories at 3 years old. She's pretending like this study proves her point, because her slowly moving brain is trying to keep up. What other reason could she be bringing this up besides downplaying the CPS visit? Like, obviously someone that young, even if they won't remember most things, is going to remember that because it's traumatic. Her logic sounds like it's coming from a fucking pedophile. Oh, this child won't remember me touching them because they can't form memories yet. Denims would be so fucking pissed if a Zionist used this logic to justify bombing toddlers in Gaza. But she'll use it here because it's convenient. And right after this retarded-ass take, Denims makes another attempt to downplay the CPS visit by saying it's not as bad as having the cops called.
Deanbo, do you have any idea how traumatic it is to have the authorities randomly showing up to your house at night, going through all your things, accusing you of crimes you didn't do? No one should be subjected to such treatment.
Sure, but we're talking about not cops showing up at your house. We're talking about CPS, which anyways, to begin with, 1, I don't condone. I've never condoned it, and you will not be able to find a clip of me saying, yes, we should do this, because it doesn't exist.
And Denims is technically right. There is no clip of her outwardly advocating for CPS to visit, but she never pushed back on the narrative that led to it. It's like if I made a video reacting to someone calling Denims a pedophile without evidence, and instead of questioning the information, I insinuate that it's true. Then, in another stream, I start making jokes like, oh, I'm sure Denims wants to touch kids. And once she gets her life ruined, I make a video disavowing anyone calling her a pedo without apologizing, and outwardly defending the person who made the initial allegations. Denims has not once criticized Bannapanada, despite him clearly endorsing the CPS call. He's joked about being the one to do it, and even left a comment on an edited YouTube video Denims made on the situation. Thank you, CPS. The clip of Ethan talking about how his entire family got a parasite from what he claimed was ingested poop, followed by him vividly describing how his child was so sick he was pooping everywhere, right down to discussing the consistency of his poop in vivid detail, is more than enough to warrant enough suspicion for a checkup. In my eyes, Denim supports his behavior. I mean, she's practically cheering him on.
Every time I have to see this clip and I have to hear Bannapanada talking, every time, I just imagine Bannapanada saying, it's all according to plan. Trust the plan 00101100100. How giddy do you think Bannapanada gets every time he gets to hear this section over and over and over again? I hope Bannapanada's having the time of his life. He's getting so much value for his content. So many people have seen his content. So many people.
Ayyrabs also justified the CPS visit before lying about it being Ethan's audience who made the call.
So of course, Ethan, having made so many enemies over the years, other people react to his content. And when other people see that he's talking about his children getting Giardia from dog poop.
Sonny's crawling around, he's putting everything in his mouth, he's at that age, he has Giardia.
People are quite reasonably concerned. And so, yes, anyone who's seeing that content might be concerned enough to call CPS.
I personally think she's okay with CPS being called, but can't say it outright due to the massive amount of scrutiny she's gotten. She's dumb, but she's not dumb enough to ignore the basics of optics. Denim's main tactic at this point was to claim everything was being taken out of context, but she hasn't given any actual evidence for this. She thinks Ethan not watching every single second of her response is in bad faith, when in reality, it's her not understanding fair use. Since her defense has been ignored by the wider internet, she's deployed another tactic. To act like a major crybaby. She'll ignore the amount of harassment Ethan has gotten, and instead, pearl clutches over her Clips channel getting nasty comments.
The haters can't win on facts. They can only win by silencing the people who disagree with them and harassing the fuck out of them. Unfortunately, they're also stupid enough to send harassment to places that I won't see, ever. Like all the people sending hate there to that channel, it's a fan-run channel, you idiots. I don't read the comments on that. I don't even check that page ever. I'm not even getting the harassment. You are not effectively silencing me. You're just harassing some random person on the internet.
The harassment in question is just mean comments, which every online content creator gets. It's just something you have to accept. There's a difference between that and actual harassment, like having CPS called to your house, or having snarkers on Reddit leaking where you work.
Here they are, here's the mods doxing our office. Yes, this is actually a real screenshot. Hi, I know you're on break, so I'll just drop this info here in case you need it in the future. We found the H3 studio and Teddy Fresh actual address. On the right is H3, on the left is TF. Studio listing, here's the link. It's identical to the H3, here's their address. This is fucking insane. These are the moderators. This isn't even like the community members. These are the people running the fucking subreddit.
And shortly after this, Ethan received 2 human skulls in the mail.
There's something that I've never talked about publicly, but around the same time, we received 2 human skulls in the mail at our home, which led us to having a very pleasant interview with the FBI. Things have progressed well past the point of that's just what the internet does.
But no, being called a whore in the comment section of your Clips channel is a real harassment. A year ago, in my Why I Hate BreadTubers video, one of the things I criticized the leftist creators for is their overuse of certain buzzwords. They'd throw around certain labels in order to automatically dismiss their critics, no matter how valid that person's perspective is. The problem is that these creators never properly define the words they're using, leading to certain terms running stale and becoming overused. This has already happened to phrases like alt-righter, fascist, transphobe, etc. But now, the new word is SlopTuber, primarily used by Hasan Piker and those who follow him.
SlopTube. I didn't coin this term, but SlopTube typically refers to content creators, not necessarily just YouTubers, who create run-of-the-mill drama commentary or pop culture content, typically from what they claim to be an apolitical perspective. SlopTube content ranges from covering interpersonal beefs between YouTubers, all the way over to political commentary that's supposed to be somewhat centrist, but often carries water for the right. I don't use the term SlopTube as a pejorative. I actually engage in the slop every now and then. I think there are certain creators in this realm who do a really good job. I also concede the point that left-wing YouTube or BreadTube or whatever it's called is definitely home to some annoying motherfuckers, so you don't need to convince me on that. But the reason I want to look into SlopTubers for this video is because they benefit from a very special type of defense. Let's call it weaponized ignorance.
How good is that sandwich, Hasan?
The online viewership wants drama. They don't want actual fucking geopolitical analysis. They want slop. So the people that are doing that slop, that also don't treat this with the importance, the issue with the importance of it, that it deserves, piss me off to no fucking end. Especially when they take a position without actually actively saying what that position is, which is presenting themselves as people who are against, seemingly, a whole bunch of the pro-Palestinian content creators. It's a very cowardly way of taking a stance without saying what your stance actually is.
SlopTube is essentially just a catch-all term for commentary channels that don't 100% agree with Hasan. That's it. If you don't talk about this complicated geopolitical topic in a way that I like, you're a lazy, terrible content creator. But when I lazily react to YouTube videos while eating my lunch, that's not sloppy, because I have the correct takes. His stance on this just comes across as pure projection most of the time.
This is my job. It happens to be a unique instance where it's not only my job, but it's also something that I have personally experienced. This is not a crash out. This is called political commentary. I know that so many of you are so firmly locked in on drama and slop and can't understand news and commentary and news coverage without thinking everything is drama, or without thinking everything is slop. I think he just sees this as content. He just sees this as drama. He knows that a lot of people love getting fed a constant sea of unregulated slop that says Hasan is bad and wrong, and that's pretty much it.
Denims has a very similar stance to Hasan on this, using the term to discredit those she has political disagreements with.
Multiple YouTubers and streamers that talk about Palestine and talk about Gaza and talk about Israel, but they aren't actually willing to sit down and read any of this stuff or have any scholars on their broadcasts ever, and they just have the opinions they have that they want to have and do nothing else. And it's just sad. It's just sad, and it's pathetic. I actually have more respect for the people who say nothing at all than the people who step in just to show that they can't say anything and then take the side of whoever's nicer to them. You have to understand, SlopTuber didn't always used to mean bad. The term SlopTuber is derogatory, and it was invented to be derogatory towards certain type of creators. But like, I miss when SlopTubers used to just make funny videos, right? And that was the primary bit of content, because it doesn't matter if you are making a good argument. All that matters is that you're putting together enough things that are funny. The problem is when you're trying to break down a video on genocide, but you can't actually break down the video on genocide because you don't know anything about the topic.
Now, I just want to mention that I don't have any inherent issues with people who use this term. The problem is that their definitions are always so vague, so that they can worm their way around being called a SlopTuber. Cause let's be real here, Denims is one of the laziest content creators around. Not just in terms of the content she produces, but the level of research she pulls off. I mean, in this video alone, I showed how inaccurate her coverage of the content nuke and CPS situation was. In my first video on her, I mentioned how uneducated her takes were on the Balenciaga situation, the Keffals drama, and regarding Twitch's enforcement of not safe for work material. In my second video, I discussed her ignorant takes on the Ava Christyson drama, and her feud with JXE. And in the third video, I mentioned her heavily biased reporting regarding her enemies. And that's Denim's overall problem. She's too biased to be a trustworthy figure. She rarely shows evidence for her claims, and when she does, she twists it to fit her narrative. Yet she has the goal to vaguely shit on other people who she thinks do bad research.
We live in a crazy world right now where like you can just spend no time at all researching something and just talk about it however you'd like. And if other people are entertained, because I think a lot of people think that it's other people are convinced by the arguments, or that there are a bunch of fascists that are convinced, or they're already predisposed to being convinced. But I think it's just genuinely, I think it's a bunch of people just being entertained. Like they don't care what this person says. All they care is that they're entertained. You want to turn on your Twitch stream, you want to watch your YouTube video, and you want to be entertained. And like that's the average apolitical American.
Again, you can literally use the same logic of Denims in her audience. Most of these people watch her to be entertained, or to jerk off. The only difference is that people like her prop themselves atop a moral high ground in order to sidestep any legitimate criticism as just plain ignorance. Yet she'll accuse commentary channels of doing the exact same thing.
I love SlopTuber. I love SlopTube. I love all the just like garbage videos that are totally garbage videos that mean absolutely nothing, just like funnel them straight into my feed. That's fine with me. The problem is like the SlopTubers who like all they do is cover this stuff, and then they're like, actually I am an intellectual genius and I'm going to cover all of these topics even though I've never studied any of them or read anything about them or even know anything about any of these regions. Okay, great.
Yeah, prefacing a video with, I'm a dumb, big, idiot baby, but here's what I think about it. Really serious, grave, important topic. Yeah, man, don't do that. Just listen to the first thing you said and act accordingly.
Her and Noah will say that, as if their daddy Hasan doesn't do the exact same thing.
Here's why this is actually an abject failure, and this is not just my perspective on the matter. I'm just a dumb idiot with a Twitch stream who is live reacting to the news and trying to make sense of everything as it's ongoing. I usually have a policy of not covering breaking news, and sometimes that policy is violated.
Hasan, SlopTuber confirmed. Unless these guys once again stretch the definition of the word to only mean specific commentary channels. And I do think there are channels in that category that can be described as SlopTubers, but you can't be using that term arbitrarily. It has to actually mean something, or you might as well not say it at all. Cause what a SlopTuber really is any content creator that does little to no research, sometimes maliciously for monetary gain. It could be a lazy 10-minute PNG tuber video, or a highly edited video essay. It depends on a case-by-case basis for sure, and the political affiliation of the creator shouldn't matter. I would describe Denims as a SlopTuber due to her clear disregard for accuracy and blatant bias, in order to spread specific narratives amongst her audience.
My perspective is, I don't like to spend my time going after other people that are on the left, right? And that's just because I think my time is better spent making fun of people on the right. You guys can disagree, and I'm not saying that no one should ever do this, and I'm not saying that I think it's bad to do this. I'm saying I don't like to spend my time fighting with people who are saying that they're on the left. I think it's much more effective for me to make fun of people on the right instead of, because every minute I'm spending making fun of somebody else on the left, I could be making fun of someone on the right.
In April, YouTuber Ayyrabs would release a new Content Cup episode after nearly 8 years of hiatus. It ended up being about Ethan Klein to the surprise of some, though not Denims since she was actually involved with its making. It's very clear she gave her input, and she's not smart enough to make her own defense. And she appeared in the intro doing this cringy conga line routine. You got Denims, who's dressed like a prostitute, Ian, who's a couple of Denny's meals away from looking like Derek Chauvin, Jabba the Hutt, and that black guy I already forgot the name of. Despite how awful this intro is, Denims pretends it's funny by doing her signature fake laugh.
Ethan, the dumb bitch is telling you to wake up. Wake up, Ethan. Wake up.
Ethan, wake up.
Got you guys.
Seems anyone? Just wake up. Wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up, Ethan.
I'm not gonna do a react content yet, chat.
I listen. Nobody's telling you to wake up, Ethan.
Yummy, I love Sabra hummus.
Wake up,
Ethan.
Now, I was not at all surprised by Ayyrabs siding with these people. I'm just surprised it took this long. He and his wife, Anisa Jomha, have been trying to cozy up to the Hasan orbit for years, as most corners of the internet find the duo to be reprehensible people. Ethan calling Ian out for being a snake was his last straw, with the content cop being his public declaration of joining the orbit. But despite the video performing well in views, It's been pretty widely mocked by the majority who've seen it. I went more in detail on this in my recent Ayyrabs video, but the content cop is poorly structured, is incredibly unfunny, filled with multiple attempts at concern trolling, and removed a ton of context that explains Ethan's motivations for going after Hasan and his supporters. People like Denims will defend it because you kind of have to remove context in order for her to seem in the right. The release of the content cop led to the eventual downfall of Ian's boxing event, Creator Clash 3. This was due to many of the fighters hating that geopolitical drama was now involved at the event, and eventually both Ian and Anisa had to step down as organizers. The event would be postponed and later cancelled, though Denims chose to sweep for Ian and Anisa the entire way. When it was revealed that the couple were being paid 34% of the profits, Denims shows an older clip where Ethan acknowledges that they should be paid.
We had you guys on after the first event, though. I said, you guys gotta make money. Have you not changed anything since then?
Maybe next year we've talked about taking a salary next year because it is more than a full-time job. I mean,
Did you guys not take a salary at all?
No, not last year. This year I don't think we will. But next year we'll take we're reworking the framework so we, our coworkers are making us take a salary next year, so that's fine.
Yeah, I mean.
Now Denims' main argument is that it's valid for Ian and Anisa to get paid, which isn't why people are mad.
Literally, just go back 2 years and here he is saying, you guys absolutely should get paid for your time. I'm sorry, you guys are spending all of your time. None of it is being spent making videos because you're too busy planning this event, talking to all of these fighters, dedicating your life to either boxing in Ian's case or wrangling these fighters to fight, making sure that everything works. And you didn't even take anything for it? You didn't even get paid for any of your labor putting this show together? That's crazy. You guys are allowed to make money off of the things that you put together. You're allowed to raise money for charity and also make money for yourself for organizing the event, which is, again, a very fucking reasonable position to hold.
Denims, people aren't pissed that they're being paid. It's that they're being paid 34% of the profits, which is a lot. This information was not transparently presented to either the fighters nor the general public, and some assume that all the profits were going to charity. They were not. And no, it's not lost on me how ironic it is that Denims is defending her friends, who were engaging in some very capitalistic behavior, despite trying to present herself as a socialist. Denims also defends the decision to fly out a bunch of creators for the second event, and place them in a nice hotel.
I think Anisa made a relatively correct decision in thinking maybe we should have a hotel near the venue where these people can go. Personally, I think that the only problem with what they did was they should have incentivized every single person who was there to either donate some amount of money to the charity or to the for-profit side or whatever. Or they should have booked these rooms out and then sold them, like almost like subletting the hotel to the people who want to stay there. Because I understand putting like content creators and friends of the content creators and family members of the content creators all in one place so that everyone's there in the same space. And if you need to get in contact with someone immediately, you can do that easily. That makes sense to me.
Denims says all this as if she wasn't flown out to the event herself by Anisa so they can hang out and be gal pals. Did Denims donate any money to Creator Clash 2? Did she offer to pay for her own hotel room? Her silence on that must mean something.
Our silence means something.
Every time Ethan brings up Denims being flown out to Tampa, she shifts the conversation.
But to be honest, 2 massive galas flying out a bunch of dipshit, flying out Denims.
Let me just say, someone sent me this fucking post.
I'm sure those dying cancer kids who did not get any charity money would have loved to see Denims at the red carpet gala. Around this same time, Ethan would invite Ian and Anisa's former boxing coach and his wife on their podcast. Mike and Kate revealed a ton of embarrassing shit about the Jomhas, though Denims would automatically write it off as fanfic. She never watches the full episode, and instead reads summaries and watches random clips in the Snark subreddit.
Dude, I watched like a little bit of this podcast, just a tiny bit, and I literally had to close it because I was like, this is weird. Like, this is weird. Like, this is really weird.
She gets super pissed at Mike and Kate for revealing embarrassing details about the Jomha's sex lives, referring to the former as a douchebag.
And it doesn't help that, like, the boxing coach is being, like, a huge, like, douchebag the whole time, for lack of better words. And then his wife, I think, is just like laughing the whole time. And it feels very high school drama-y.
Anisa told us that Ian had a girlfriend, but he never had sex with her, and that she was a single mom.
So he lied.
What?
What?
Yeah, and that. That's like he couldn't get anybody.
I
so,
heard
like,
this.
So like this.
He was dating a single mom?
Well, she
Yeah.
he was
And he
something
didn't have
about
sex
some
with her?
sort of MILF at rock climbing or something.
Yeah.
This was the guy telling us to act our age because we posed for a photo and did this.
Yeah, because this is actually funny. The guy that mocks his old fans for being basement-dwelling losers turned out to be a basement-dwelling loser himself. One that didn't lose his virginity until he was 26. Ethan only decided to start spreading this info after Ian unironically found the human skulls thing to be funny.
One last question. Did you send the skulls? What is your opinion on the skulls, and did you send them?
I didn't send the skulls. I don't know. I thought the skulls thing was kind of humorous to hear that.
Oh yeah, death threats are really humorous. But don't make fun of his lunatic wife, cause this guy will start bawling his eyes out. Or he'll just shit himself.
I just want to ask him if you've always been shitting your pants.
No.
Because since I've known you, you've always had like IBS. You've always been shitting yourself.
Yeah, well.
During her brief coverage of Ethan's interview with Mike and Kate, she would call them out for spreading unverified gossip.
Dude, what is happening on the what is happening on the H3 podcast where they're just writing fanfic? I like how half of these are just writing cuck fanfic. Like it's just cuck fanfic. And then the other half is things that I guarantee you are totally normal when you put them in context.
Now there is a decent point to be made that no evidence was provided for a lot of their claims, though most assume they're being truthful since Ian and Anisa have never responded to any of this. Coincidentally, the couple decided to announce a road trip, and no statement has been made by them in over 2 months. And according to Ian's own logic,
our silence means something.
And this is actually a point from her I've decided to look into further, as Denims has recently given her take on the T-Dating advice app. Last month, the app was easily hacked by 4chan, since their backend database was completely unsecure. It didn't even have a password or any sort of data encryption. This led to many of the users getting doxxed, though many were unsympathetic due to the behavior of the women on there. The original purpose of the app was for women to be able to verify if their match on a dating app had any sort of criminal record. The problem is that most women weren't there to post that information. They would instead anonymously post unverified gossip on the men they previously dated, typically posting their personal information as well. Men were not allowed to join the app, and couldn't be notified of their information being posted. Denims attempts to both sides this issue, but inadvertently sides with the women by downplaying their actions as simple, normal gossip.
I know this might be a massive shock, but the app was hacked. The T app has been hacked, and all user information was leaked. There was all fat, ugly, middle-aged women. So it's a bunch of fat, ugly, middle-aged women that hate men because obviously they're not.
So then why do you care? Why does anyone care? If it's all fat, ugly women, which I'm not even going to unpack that right now, then why do you care? They're removing themselves from the dating pool. You're just like mad that people are talking about not liking like men. Like who gives a fuck? Oh my God. This is so beyond like anything I could have imagined, okay?
Nothing is inherently wrong with gossip. The issue is doing it anonymously to where you can't face the consequences if you defame someone. Denims does not understand this point, and instead compares it to YouTubers spreading gossip.
Let's talk about the T app and whether it's legal. If you don't know the T app, it's like an app version of the Are We Dating the Same Guy Facebook group. Basically, it's a platform for women to anonymously gossip, post pictures, ask information about men. Although men are the subject and they are what's being talked about, it doesn't let men join. It also has screenshot blocking, which aims to make it so that men can't know that they're being talked about. And you can even set up alerts for guys' names, and it gives you a notification when that person is being talked about. There are...
That's pretty crazy. My major problem with caring about this is like, dog, it's human nature to gossip. Gossiping, and there are lots of like dude bros that be like, I've never gossiped in my life. Dude, every single drama channel on YouTube that capitalizes on the red text Pirate Software's face. He's done. Every single one of those is men, okay? All of those drama channels are run by men. Guess what? Men gossip just like women do, okay? It is human nature. We're social creatures. We like to gossip.
The thing is, if you defame Pirate Software, and he somehow has evidence against you, you would face public consequences. And also, Pirate Software is a public figure. These men being talked about on the T app are just random people. If women want to gossip about that person in a private Facebook group, that's fine. The issue is doing it publicly in a way where the person can't fight back. At least when it comes to YouTubers, they can fight back. They can respond and show receipts. Ian and Anisa can respond to Mike and Kate anytime they want. They probably won't, but they have the option. Denims is using whataboutism to deflect the actual issues with the app. She's making it comparable to public figures talking about public figures, as if that's remotely close to what these women are doing.
Men love to gossip. Your Honor, Exhibit B. Men love to gossip. Your Honor, Exhibit C. And I can go on and on and on and on and on and on. This idea that like only women like to gossip is just like, it's so embarrassing, dude. It's so embarrassing. Making videos is not gossiping. Yeah, that's why you look at what the video titles are and the video thumbnails are, and then you judge based on that. And when the video thumbnails are all AI, Photoshop, people like soying or whatever, and then AI, sorry, not AI, and then the title is like, life ruined, and the entire video is about some nonsense, that's gossiping.
Yes, Denims, men gossip too. But they're not getting their own app, but they get to post pictures of women and spread unverified information. Her logic is that gossip is okay when groups she likes do it, but when the gossip is against her friends, it's bad. This is essentially how she justifies using snark subreddits and Banana Banana clips to go after Ethan. Going back to the CPS situation, Ethan had publicly discussed the possibility of suing her for defamation, claiming that she knowingly spread lies about him neglecting his kids.
If you guys have any other clips of Denims saying that our kids, anything about our kids and the dog thing, I would love if you guys can compile that for me.
Okay.
Just in general, if there's anyone in the audience, because I don't want to miss anything. So if you know of any, or if you want to help us look, you can send it to us, on Discord, Dan?
Or throw it up on the Reddit. I mean, if you throw it up on the Reddit or something.
Reddit, okay.
Yeah.
This was clearly at the back of Denim's mind for months, so much so that she spent parts of her vacation setting up her own defamation lawsuit against Ethan.
So yesterday, I got the website ethanklied.com. Unfortunately, because I was in Texas trying to juggle this, trying to juggle talking to other people in Texas, vacationing, workationing, haven't finalized all of the details here.
You know, most normal people wouldn't focus on work-related stuff on their girls' trip. But seeing that she was doing it with Anisa Jomha makes me understand why she'd rather be dealing with legal bullshit. On May 8th, she'd publicly announced her intent to sue Ethan for defaming her regarding the CPS situation, writing, "Ethan Klein, retract, or you may want to replace your lawyer who can't do shit." Despite publicly acknowledging that I have never endorsed, and even denounced, calling CPS on Ethan, he has continued to spread this malicious lie. Now Denims, in her letter, claims Ethan knowingly lied about her being responsible for the call, even though he's never claimed that. Instead, he said that she's partially responsible for the narrative that led to the CPS call. She does not provide any evidence of Ethan saying she made the call or endorsed it. Ethan has instead claimed that she endorsed people in her chat saying the CPS should be called.
Because, as you can see in the chat, and Denims endorses this clearly, as you can see, she's not moderating this at all. And it's pretty much 100% of the comments saying call CPS on them. Their kids should be taken away. That she believes that it's justified to break up our family. This disgusting fucking human being.
Denims isn't able to cite any actual damages, which is key for her case. So she instead claims the damages are defamation per se. This is where the statement is so inherently harmful to a person's reputation that the damages are just presumed. Though her case is so incredibly weak that she was begging her chat to find proof of a harassment campaign against her. This gets so absurd that she was claiming random shitters in her chats were not only proof of harassment, but full-blown threats as well.
And you really do have to love the people that come in, the H3 fans. This is how you know you're on the winning side. Ethan will eat you alive. You don't have the money or intelligence to go anywhere with this. You know you're proving that he has pushed a harassment campaign against you.
It's driving me crazy.
When you type things like this, you're making it harder for him to win the lawsuit. You're like actually like an idiot. Like threatening people who pursue a lawsuit against your guy. And every further post you make, it doesn't benefit him. I'm just telling you, like, this isn't beneficial for him. It's only beneficial for me when you type things like this, whether it's in Reddit, on Reddit, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on Instagram.
Again, she'll ban that person, but not anyone wanting CPS to be called, which, under her own logic, is tapping the glass. Denims also victimizes herself by bringing up how rich Ethan is, making it seem like this impossible battle she has to overcome.
At this point, I think the people who I care about know that Ethan Klein is a prolific liar, but I think it is unbelievably insane and cruel that no one can really stand up to Ethan because he has so much more money than everybody else, and that there are no consequences for him.
She says this as if she wasn't cum-guzzling one of the richest streamers in the world. You're not exactly an underdog, Denims. Though, since Hasan didn't bother to financially support her legal battle, many questioned how she'd get the money.
This does not end well for you, ... You got a spare couple of hundreds of thousands for legal fees. This isn't the W you think it is. To which I will say, you know you're on the winning side when you say, okay, he might be right, but financially he will destroy you, so back off. I'm aware that Ethan Klein has made millions of dollars off of selling Pootie Tang core merch. And I'm aware that he uses his money to threaten other people legally. I'm aware that he's currently doing it to Noah Samsen right now.
Oh yeah, Ethan is currently trying to sue Noah Samsen for defamation. I did not end up making a video on this because, to be honest, Noah is just super fucking boring. This guy is like the human equivalent of stale potato chips. Ethan and Mudahar of Some Ordinary Gamers claim Noah defamed them for saying they both support genocide. I don't know how this case will go, mainly because there is an argument to be made that Noah was expressing an opinion, though at the same time, I don't have any sympathy for Noah, who has spent years knowingly defaming people, and only apologizing when he gets a shit ton of backlash from his own audience.
But this Chud Logic guy, I called him a pedophile for, I think, more tangible reasons. He was horny texting an 18-year-old fan of his in his Discord. So yeah, I do want to unequivocally retract that he's a pedophile, that I called him a pedophile. I shouldn't have done that, and I'm sorry to Chud Logic for doing that. I got some feedback from CSA survivors about how we shouldn't throw that word around without evidence because it cheapens the word's meaning, and I think that makes perfect sense. I've always loved internet humor like this, you know, extreme hyperbolic insults.
I don't care if Ethan wins, I need Noah Samsen to lose. Though speaking of expressing an opinion, one of the claims that Denims considers defamatory is Ethan calling her a nasty, pathetic, lying bitch. Hey, dumbass. Someone insulting you like that is protected speech. This is like suing someone because they called you a poopy head. Now, in order to raise the money, Denims created a GoFundMe that ended up drawing a lot of mockery. She asked for $150,000, not even reaching a third of that goal. Also, a lot of her donors were leaving comments like, "Free Palestine," basically trying to virtue signal. I guess in their mind, donating to some retard Twitch streamer is better for the world than just giving them money to starving Gazans. Their justification is that taking down Ethan is helping the cause, as if taking away money from Ethan will automatically stop a decades-long conflict in the Middle East.
I can care about multiple things at the same time, and if you care about Palestinians and Palestinian coverage, maybe you would care about the fact that Ethan Klein uses his power, that he uses his audience specifically to push a narrative that a bunch of streamers on Twitch are anti-Semitic and gets them banned for 30 days. People who have used their platform to has Ethan ever used his platform to fundraise for Palestine?
Ethan literally has. What the fuck are you talking about?
Hey, Ethan Klein, thank you for the dono. Ethan Klein gave $6,500. My goat. Thank you, Ethan.
Also, I don't think banning Frogan and a couple of other irrelevant streamers is going to hurt the total donations to Gaza, when these people can't even raise enough money for rent. So it's always funny when these people morally grandstand and pretend to be selfless, when they're clearly in it for themselves.
So, you know, 150,000, just a meager 150,000. Free Palestine by donating to me to sue Ethan Klein.
Denims would heavily publicize this GoFundMe and had a refund policy in place. She says this is in case Ethan retracts his claims, but in my opinion, it's so she doesn't get accused of scamming her fans like Keffals.
If he's willing to admit that he made defamatory statements and issue a retraction, of course, again, I would be happy to refund every single person who's donated. Otherwise, I will be suing. And if you would like to help donate to this legal fund, considering that he doesn't have enough lawyers.
What happened?
The website is ethankleinlied.com.
Many would mock this for being a clear money grab, including the legendary prankster Joey Salads.
What's up guys, I'm Joey Salads, and today I'm going to be doing a social experiment.
Denims and her fans would mock him for drinking his own piss, which, I'll give it to them, is a clever comeback. But you know who else consumed Joey's piss? Denim's new pal, Ayyrabs.
Cheers! Say something to some pussy. Vomit on me, please. It's a little bit of vomit. It's part of it. Muscle tough. Muscle fucking tough.
So, not as hard-hitting of an insult as you'd think. Ethan would quickly send over a response letter, basically pulling out an Uno reverse card. He points to the multiple occasions of her lying about him, and tears her apart for removing some of the evidence, as previously mentioned.
Because if you're destroying evidence, basically what that means is that we get to infer the worst from it, and that's like legal. So if she's destroying evidence, then we can assume that like whatever we want to say bad was what she's destroying.
Now Denims did not pull out her own Uno reverse card. She instead pulled out the misogyny card. Instead of explaining why she unlisted that VOD, she accuses her opponents of being sexist.
I think they said that you deleted a certain VOD. Is that true? I have the VOD. This is what I mean when I say people like underestimate you all the time if they think that you're stupid for whatever reason, whether they think you're stupid because misogyny or whatever. It doesn't really matter the reason. You think I wouldn't save this shit, dude? If you've been a content creator for longer than like a year, you know to archive everything. Because Twitch deletes their old VODs. Twitch automatic, I think it's like a month back, I think is what they're changing it to, but it might have been 3 months back at the time, that they automatically delete everything.
Yeah, but you were the one to remove it, not Twitch. I verified this myself back in April, and the March 1st VOD was removed. The ones from February 23rd and the 28th were still there. Ethan also claims the March 7th VOD was removed as well. On May 14th, she'd announced the end of her GoFundMe. 1 week, 1,692 donations, and $46,000 later, I'm refunding the GoFundMe. If/when I go forward as a plaintiff, I will be self-funded. Thank you everyone for proving Ethan wrong. His behavior is unacceptable, and people do care. She barely tried here, folks. She couldn't even manage this shit for a full week. Denims claims that she's still gonna take Ethan to court, but with her own money. I don't know where the fuck she'll get it, unless Hasan is going to act as her sugar daddy, or she secretly made bank off Save the Kids token. Her reasoning for stopping the GoFundMe was because she got super fucking peeved that people were saying she'd pocket the money. Honestly, I wouldn't care if she did. The people that would be fucked over are Denims fans. They waste money on her all the time. There are legit people out there using their parents' credit card to buy Denims OnlyFans. Imagine getting off to this and thinking you're a normal, functioning member of society. What the fuck would Denims even spend the money on? Another push-up bra? At least Keffals spent her money on streaming gear and cocaine. That's metal as fuck. Denims claims that she might pursue the lawsuit in the near future, and that this was merely an attempt to give Ethan a chance to retract.
The TLDR here, if people are still confused, because it is possible that this statute applies, because it is possible, it means that I can't sue him when I want to on my timeline unless I first issue this retraction letter. I must issue this retraction letter in order to be able to sue him in the future. If I don't do that, I can't sue him in the future. If I wait like 6 months to prepare finances, to prepare that legal battle, and the courts say, oh, but you didn't issue this retraction demand in a timely fashion, so your lawsuit means nothing. Do you guys understand?
This to me is just cope, and I think she's trying to find a way to cancel her legal pursuits without completely embarrassing herself. Though she still is making a complete fool of herself. She's trying to treat this faulty GoFundMe as a success, despite not even making it to a third of her goal. How does any of this prove Ethan wrong? You might as well just bend over and let him kick you in the ass. Jake Doolittle did a better job at raising money. Only a month later, Ethan would issue his own lawsuit against not only Denims, but Frogan and Caseytron as well. This isn't for defamation, but instead copyright infringement. All three had reacted to the entirety of the Hasan content nuke in a malicious manner, not knowing Ethan had copyrighted it, and registered it with the United States Library of Congress. It's kind of a baller move. I know I'll get accused of bootlicking him, but he laid out the spikes in the road, knowing various React streamers would lazily react to his video. However, he's specifically suing these three because of their intent. They watched the content nuke with the sole intention to siphon views from Ethan.
Well, guys, if you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, follow, subscribe, throw a prime. If you like the content, if you enjoyed your time here.
And that's not the only occurrence of Denims admitting that.
We're relying on you to stay live so we don't give more views on the nuke. Yeah, I'm gonna stream it. Since he confirmed it's coming out today, we're gonna stream it. I'll probably like grab some food or something, because honestly, sure, why not, right? Fucking why not? I've waited long enough, dude. Fuck it, dude. Long stream today. Why not? I was changing my title.
Both Frogan and Casey Tron made similar statements, pretty much stating that they wanted to act as a Marcus substitute for the original video. Casey Tron's is definitely the most blatant case of copyright infringement, so stay tuned for next month, where I tear apart her entire career in an hour or less. All you need to know is that she spent her entire stream stoned out of her mind.
There's 15 minutes 40 seconds of commentary versus 18 minutes and 55 seconds of smoking. She spent 3 minutes and 15 seconds longer smoking than she did talking in her quote-unquote reaction. And whatever talking she did was just to express how confused she was, presumably from smoking 42 times.
What is happening? I'm trying to follow. I've lost the plot.
Frogan has pretty much been the only one of the trio to keep quiet. The other two keep yapping on and on about the legal case, despite knowing they shouldn't.
I am not going to litigate this case on the internet. I'm going to litigate this case in a court of law. Okay? I am.
Denims avoids making direct responses to certain points, but does say a lot of retarded shit in relation to the ethics of reaction content. She crafts an argument that it's okay to steal content from news channels because they already make enough money and shouldn't care.
Hasan had the audacity to stream for 8 hours.
Extended periods of time.
And he had to pee. And he had the audacity to steal from small creators like Fox News, CBS, CNN. I'm just like, finally, somebody is exposing this bad behavior at long last.
In order to continue justifying this, she sets up a scenario to explain the rationale behind stealing from the wealthy. She forgets that she's not conducting one of her breadtube lectures about why capitalism is bad, and is instead morally justifying theft after being accused of stealing.
If you check your bank account and like Chase accidentally refunded you an extra $50, you might look at that and be like they were supposed to refund you for some charge or something, and then they accidentally gave you another $50. And you see that, and you're like, I didn't see anything. Well, listen, they can correct it. They can find it themselves. They can correct it. I don't really care that much, all right? I don't really care that much. If some old lady on the street is like, hey, you know, do you have change for a $10 bill? Nobody carries cash around, but like, do you have change for a $10 bill? I just need to pay the meter. And she hands you a $50 bill instead of a $10 bill and says, oh, you know, times are so tough right now, but you know, gotta pay the meter. And you keep the 50. See how one of those feels morally worse? One of those feels like you're stealing from someone who does need it, or you're stealing from, I don't know, not a corporation. One of those feels worse. We're not talking about legality. It's theft regardless. We're talking about what is morally worse. That's why nobody gives a shit about stealing from corporations.
The problem here is that she should be spending her time forming a legal defense, instead of rambling on about how stealing money from corporations is cool and based. Your Honor, my client is a quirky socialist, and she stole that $2,000 purse from Gucci to stick it to capitalism. She would never steal a purse from a poor old woman. Great argument, Mr. Goodman. I deem that Denims is innocent of felony theft. Chatters then tell Denims how stupid this makes her look, so she clarifies that she knows this won't legally help her.
This won't hold up in court. Did you notice how I literally said this is not a legal argument? We're not talking about legality. We're talking about ethics. We're talking about morality. I know listening is hard. Critical thinking is hard. I explicitly just stated 5 seconds ago We're not talking about legality. And by the way, neither was this guy who he was quoting.
Ethan did not bring up Lamino to make a legal argument. He was giving context behind ReactGate. He wants to bring up various moral arguments to explain why Denims and others are motivated to steal content, so he can then explain how it's legally wrong. Denims is mainly motivated by profit and pure laziness. We already know that she'll play full videos during her hour-long waiting screen, and that justifies it by claiming these big companies shouldn't care. But Denims also has a history of doing so-called watch parties, which he has used to justify streaming entire TV show episodes.
This should have been very evident from like the amount of people that wanted to watch like Death Note on stream, or the amount of people that want to watch like MasterChef or Hell's Kitchen on stream. Like, it stops being one person making content, like a person making react content, and it starts being like a bunch of people watching something together as like friends almost, right? So like, even if like, there are times when I am streaming Hell's Kitchen and I don't even feel like I'm adding that much, but it's like about like the community watching, like in the same way that like watching a movie by yourself is almost always going to be less fun than watching it with other people. Do you know what I mean?
Now, watch parties aren't inherently bad, but the kind she's done before are flat out theft.
Oh! This is a new one!
I am super tired. That started with everything having elimination, and now I gotta talk immediately like this crazy.
That's true. I really got to make sure I'm giving a lot of commentary, because Jay could be watching right now. Okay? Right now. I know, such a Chad move to talk about Jay on a React content day. I know. No, look, I'm adding quality and content. Because I'm playing with Wormy.
This is what she considers a watch party, folks. There are watch parties where the participants can add a lot of content to what they're viewing, but Denims does not fall into this category. She does this because she's a vapid cunt who has nothing unique to add to most of the content she watches. She doesn't see herself as a content creator. She sees herself as a conveyor of content.
The majority of people say that they literally wouldn't watch Hell's Kitchen unless I was streaming it. And it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm reacting hard enough. You know, I'm sure if you click on a random part in the video, I might not be saying anything, sure, whatever. And I might walk away from the screen. But it's about like the communal thing. It's why like fucking Toast started streaming Death Note. It's not about the actual show at a certain point. It's like, it's the same reason you watch shows with your friends. You want to watch it with other people, right? A lot of people go to watch streamers on Twitch for their react content almost as a curator. So they don't actually want to go through YouTube themselves and watch a bunch of videos, and they probably never will go through YouTube and click a bunch of videos. They like going to Twitch because they like to have it as like, this streamer is curating fun content that I want to watch.
Now, what does this whole watch party argument have to do with her reaction to the content nuke? Well, it's the fact that she marketed her reaction as a watch party, or did market it as such. She later retitled the stream, seeing that it's a bit incriminating.
If you want to watch it with someone else who's already watching it, you know, come enjoy the watch party somewhere else.
Now, some will argue that her stream is still transformative, since her reaction is twice as long as the original video. This does not automatically mean it's transformative. As Ethan argues, she did not add enough substantive commentary for it to be deemed such. Denim's excuse is that the nuke isn't worth engaging with.
If I sat here and explained why he was wrong for like half of these things, we would be here for another 20 hours. I've gone in and tried to explain how he's incorrect on like 1 every 10 incorrect takes, because I'm trying to not spend the entire week here. Ideally, I'd like to, you know, I want to play some Marvel Rivals games today, okay? I'm trying to get some Marvel Rivals games in. But it's just, it's pathetic. It's so pathetic. I don't even understand what to say about it besides, yeah, this is wrong because this. Another wrong take. Okay, well, I just paused it for 10 minutes. I feel bad pausing it again because surely there'll be something better in here, right?
Yet, if she feels like she can't give enough input on the nuke because it's repetitive, then why continue watching it in the first place? I've watched her reaction, and a lot of it is just Denims occasionally quipping about how bad it is, and slowly trying to get her own brain to work.
Yeah. What would you do if that party started gaining momentum?
The solution to that would always be education and offering more
re-education?
Re-education, certainly, yeah. There should be an enforcement mechanism, and in that enforcement mechanism, I think like rehabilitation, which would include re-education as well.
If putting capitalists in re-education camps isn't disturbing enough, I started to notice that Hasan was carrying a lot of...
Oh my god, where did he say that?
She does this laugh throughout the video in order to not fully engage with Ethan's points, and even mocks him for complying with fair use.
Isn't it weird that a lot of these clips are like 5 seconds short? Not 5 seconds long, 5 seconds short.
Denims also gets up to leave during the Countdown podcast, not pausing it at all.
Dude, you don't look at pictures of horses in your porn stash unless you're attracted to horses.
I'm gonna go pee, and hopefully, when I'm back, they're done with this.
Yeah, no, you might want to be the horse. Absolutely. But he also wants to fuck the horse. He finds the horse sexy.
You have...
Mr. Worldwide?
Yeah.
Oh my
you look
God,
better.
Dalai.
You do look better.
Mr. 305. I see it.
Dude,
you should do this.
I have an alternate suggestion that was sent to me that I'm actually a big fan of, to just do the inverse of you, actually.
And for those of you about to argue, this wasn't during your content nuke reaction, why are you showing this? Well, this countdown stream was also copyrighted and registered with the Library of Congress, as revealed in Ethan's complaint to Denims. He just knew that these people would lazily watch it with their viewers, not adding much at all. I mean, she's clearly seen checking her phone during it. Denims, as usual, has been struggling to defend herself against a lawsuit, so she has once again been trying to label Ethan and his supporters as misogynists.
He's targeting women who have less money because A, it's easy to target people that have less money than you in lawsuits, but B, because he's trying to obtain a very particular audience, which he's successfully obtaining, an audience primarily of people who hate women.
She's trying to argue that Ethan is going after her, Casey, and Frogan simply because they have a vagina, and not because they never bothered to learn fair use. Ethan was well aware that people like her would use this as a scapegoat, so he made it very clear why he's only suing these three.
I think if you're a reactor on Twitch, for the most part, if you make a good faith effort to comment, and if you make a good faith effort to promote the author, to link to them, to try to drive traffic to the original video, I think you're probably pretty much doing the right thing, and that's fine. And I would never sue someone for that. Take it to these three absolute morons to state their intention to steal my property on video. You know, and to all the detractors who are saying that I'm targeting women, that I'm a hypocrite for suing for copyright infringement, I just have this to say. I don't care.
When Denims fell for the bait, Ethan jokingly threatened to sue Sean the Black as well. He expectedly got called racist, though it was obvious Ethan would have never sued Sean, since nobody knows who the fuck he is. He's like the John Tyler of leftist streamers. Now, it's not lost on me that Ethan is partially motivated to sue these three because they're critical of him, and have justified the harassment campaign. But I personally don't care about this because Ethan is setting strict guidelines for who he'll sue. He's going after those who are intent on stealing from him. Those who do it out of spite because Ethan is going after Master Hasan. Someone who doesn't actively hate Ethan isn't going to say out loud that they want to siphon views from him.
Even though theoretically I could sue a lot more creators and rake in millions of dollars, but the purpose of this is not financial gain. People like XQC and Asmongold may have watched the entire thing, but I would never sue them just for doing that. I don't want to chill the reaction community into fear. Actually, the opposite. I hope that we can all unite against this type of egregious behavior that not only makes us all look bad, but could destroy the commentary community as we know it.
Because they don't care about what's true. They don't care about what's correct. They don't care about what's honest. They care about pushing their propaganda as hard as they can. And they're not going to listen to your arguments. They're not going to listen to your genuine criticisms. There's no point in engaging in good faith with people who aren't good faith actors. There is no point in engaging in that way. You should respond to people the way that they respond to you. If they are dishonest liars to you, then you can make fun of them. When they become interested in good faith arguments, good faith criticisms, then you can engage in good faith criticisms back.
Now, there are genuine concerns about these lawsuits setting a bad precedent when it comes to online streaming. However, I personally don't care if it mainly affects Twitch and their enforcement of their own rules, as that system clearly needs to be fixed. What I mean is that there's tons of massive streamers who have been permanently banned over single incidents, yet many others get off almost scot-free after breaking the same rules time and time again. My favorite example is Strawberry Tabby, a booby streamer who's been banned 10 times over showing nudity. The longest she's ever been banned for is just a week. Yet on YouTube, she doesn't even try showing nudity, since they'd outright ban her after 3 such incidents. Now YouTube's 3-strike system isn't perfect, as they've sometimes given creators 3 strikes in a single day, but inherently it's much better than Twitch, who doesn't seem to have a strict limit on what gets you permabanned. This is why so many streamers on there have gotten away with flat-out copyright infringement. CaseyTron has been banned before over watching the movie Total Recall on stream, yet got unbanned after 2 days and went right back to lazily watching other people's work. These people probably don't even think what they're doing is wrong, since they never get proper punishment for breaking Twitch's guidelines. If you agree with them politically, or if Dan Clancy finds you to be good wank-off material, you won't risk getting permabanned. This is inherently why people hate Hasan and his orbiters. These people get away with violation after violation, while others risk permabans over similar behavior. Here on YouTube, you can't even play more than 20 seconds of a movie without a copyright claim, nor can you play more than 6 seconds of a song. These people will watch entire films, and some streamers like MorgPie will just play copyrighted music in the background. Here on YouTube, if I call for Denims to be killed, I could risk this video getting taken down. Yet on Twitch, they get away with calling for violence. Despite these creators getting special treatment and being protected by a massive corporation, they cry like a bitch when they get hate online. And it's funny too, since these are all wannabe socialists, who rely on one of the biggest beacons of capitalism to stay afloat in the sphere of content creation. I'm not gonna cry a fucking river when Twitch streamers start having to face the consequences of their actions. Denims, get fucked. Frogan, get fucked. CaseyTron, get fucked. If you're just a regular streamer who obeys the rules, I don't have an issue with you. I have an issue with these airheaded homunculoids who constantly break the rules and whine when others do even less. Embarrassingly, Denims has had to start up another GoFundMe, which still hasn't surpassed a third of its goal. In fact, it hasn't even surpassed the amount of money she made last time, and it's been over a month. Even more humiliating than that is the comments, with H3 fans gifting money so they can go right back into Ethan's pockets. So happy to donate to this pro-terrorist Twitch streamer. I'm glad it's going to a good cause, aka Ethan's pocket when he drags you in court. I gave you more than your Habibi Hasan, who is too busy saying how rich he is at the FaZe party. How dare you beg for money when there's a genocide going on? Have some grace. Though at least the comments aren't as brutal as the ones on the Frogan GoFundMe. Here is $5 for Ethan. Don't eat it. You are already very fat.
Like, you are fat, go walk around. Stop eating so much food. It's like...
Denims has also tried conducting more OnlyFans photo shoots to raise money, doing this one while posing with the lawsuit. I know she's trying to make fun of Ethan for putting this photo in the letter, but it's even more ridiculous as she's posing with it to arouse her Gooner fanbase. She's trying to pass this off as bait, pretending like she literally isn't the butt of the joke.
I wanted to make an easy block list for anyone who wanted to go ahead and block a bunch of, absolute morons. So if you would like an easy block list, this tweet, I left replies open, 1.5k replies, easy block list. The number of replies in here that say skank, whore, OnlyFans, etc. I think we all know, Ethan, the audience that you are trying to obtain. Okay?
Oh yeah, have I made fun of Denims for doing adult content yet in this video? Skank, whore, OnlyFans slut. At this point, I don't care if she calls me sexist for that. People like her will twist anything to make me seem sexist regardless. And it's usually projection anyways, because her fans are the ones treating her like a sexual object. Her fans are the ones wanking it to the cleavage pics. She knows she can easily farm sympathy from the haters and make them all sound unhinged without showing direct evidence.
But it's also in my YouTube comments, in his YouTube comments, in my Twitch chat, and in my Instagram comments. Probably thousands at this point of comments that are anywhere from whore to probably the worst would be like a rape threat.
And then it turns out that all those rape threats were coming from Tectone's father. Would be the twist of the century. Part of the reason why Denims is so defensive is because of her long history of posting degenerate gooner shit. This is a bit of a tangent, but it's really funny to me. Denims would horny post on Twitter under the guise of making really unfunny jokes. If it was just a few times, I wouldn't care, but it's clearly a pattern. Gender equality is when I get to come a lot. Woke up sick, and now I desperately need a submissive and breedable boy wife to nurse me back to health. Dudes who use this emoji give the best head, for real. Can we start a Milky's Monday trend on Twitter? I want to see some pics of guys with just the juiciest pecs today. That is too much to ask for. And yes, dudes are replying of shirtless pics. And some were in schoolgirl uniforms. Free feet pics, finally. This was in response to Vosh posting pictures of his feet online. I would pay real money to put this guy in a maid outfit, and then duct tape him to an ironing board until he begs to be released. Need to put a really smart guy in a maid outfit, and interrupt his diatribe about Leninism every 10 seconds, to comment about how hot and breedable he looks. Women who drool give the best sloppy toppy. Men get flustered way more easily by dommy behavior, and it's so fucking hot. Can't stop thinking about how busting makes me feel good.
Denim's not being a gooner? Oh no, trust when I say that I am a gooner, okay? I'm just more into the, listen, the weirdest I get is like, the weirdest I think any person is allowed to get, okay? This is the weirdest. Overwatch porn. That is the weirdest you're allowed to get, okay? That's the weirdest. You got me. You got me. Most normie gooner. What? You're only one step into degeneracy? Okay. What the? All right. All right.
Recently, Denim's old Tumblr accounts were rediscovered, where she'd post really bizarre art. This came about because I recirculated clips of Denims defending Chris Tyson last year, after the Shadman stuff resurfaced. These clips managed to get their way to Ethan, who also brought up her old drawings, much of which is NSFW material, which he'd post while being around 17 to 18 years old. People have speculated that some of this art could be considered lolly, due to how Denims describes them.
Some of this shit gets pretty sussy baka. This one makes me very uncomfortable, and especially when you read the description. I love Harvest Moon, and also precious children cuddling in bed. Precious children cuddling in bed, she said.
Those two characters are from Harvest Moon and are canonically of age, but it's weird to describe them that way. She'd also draw furry art involving two young boys, describing them as dumb gay babies. One is described as a lamb, aka a baby sheep. It seems like Denims quietly deleted some posts from her Marwako account, as the one Ethan showed on his podcast has been deleted. I typed in the link and everything. It was also recently unearthed that she did what I can only describe as a pedobait OnlyFans shoot, where she poses with teddy bears while showing her feet. All I'll say definitively is that Denims is a creepy gooner.
Here is two making out prepubescent looking characters, and the caption is Little Babies. That's the title, Little Babies.
Some of these girls looked pretty young.
Little babies.
So yeah, I'm gonna continue making videos on Denims, cause it seems like we learn more and more weird shit every day. And to any Denims fans out there who are going to complain about how many videos I've done on her, shut the fuck up. You people should be the last to complain about this shit. I mean, Denims has a weekly stream segment called Mold Mondays, where she spends hours ripping into random Asmongold videos.
No, Spore Sunday is in reference to when we watch mold content, which is in reference to watching things like Asmongold, like this, which we will be doing today, unfortunately.
And she can make fun of Asmongold all she wants. I've even dabbled in that art form. And heck, keep farming H3. Keep making streams about Ethan where you lie about him. I get it, you're desperate. But if you're going to obsessively talk about these people every single stream, I get to keep making video after video, milking your shitty takes for views. It's that simple. These Legos aren't going to pay for themselves. This stuff is expensive. Denims clearly isn't going to change. She doesn't even have the capacity to apologize for anything.
Let's see. Take responsibility for my own life or blame you? Ding, 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 ding! Blame you wins hands down!
And the overall problem is that she exists in an echo chamber that will always cheer her on, even if she does something objectively fucked up. These people she's surrounded herself with have made her way too comfortable. That's why she's constantly going after the same few targets. It's the people that the Hasan orbiters are already mad at. You know she's not going to risk going after someone Hasan's community doesn't widely hate, because she can't actually defend herself without them. In fact, she struggled to effectively go after Ethan until his beef with Hasan started last October. Denims won't fully engage with her opponents, which is why she instead watches lazily made video essays or cut up Banappanada streams. She'll support his content while sticking her fingers in her ears and going, la 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 la, not listening, whenever he doxes people. I legit don't see Banappanada's career ending any differently than Chris McKinstry's. I guarantee you that deep down, Denims is not satisfied with her online career. She's insecure about her adult content, she's not confident enough to call out creators on her own, and she has some of the worst work ethic for a streamer I've ever seen. It makes sense why she doesn't even know what having pride in her work means.
What does take pride in your work mean? I don't know.
She'll try and pretend to be this hardworking person who lives a normal life, but I don't believe that. She lacks any semblance of being genuine. Shit on Hasan all you want, but when he's not being a socialist grifter, I'm sure he's probably a normal dude outside of work. There's a reason why this guy has so many normie friends in the content creator space. I can't say the same for Denims. I don't think she's grifting. She's just a dumbass who's probably insufferable to be around. There's a reason why all her friends are women with sex addictions who do OnlyFans, have BPD, or both. All she can do is ignore criticism of her and project it onto other people because she lacks the ability to self-reflect.
He doesn't care about what's real. He doesn't care about the fact. If he cared about the fact, he wouldn't report the way that he does. So generous. On things the way that he does. He just wants to shove his slop down any sucker's throat that he can find. And if he's not interested in having good faith conversations and actually making good faith arguments or criticisms of people, why the fuck should we do the same for them? That's ridiculous. So you lie about people, make up random scenarios that didn't actually happen, refuse to provide any context, insist on shoveling your slop down people's throat, and we're supposed to what? Do what the Democrats do? And when you go low, we go high. Oh, fuck off. No, I think we should make fun of you and expose you for being the total fucking loser that you are.
I was thinking the exact same thing, you worthless cunt. Denims, you can laugh all you want, but I can sense the fakeness. Ironically, the only part of her that isn't fake is her tits.
I'm so woke that it seems like I'm gay.